Hello, and welcome to Talking with Talent. My name is Jack Sharkey, and this is the show where we talk to people in and around the film industry about their experiences, their roles, how they got into the industry, and upcoming projects. So today I'm joined by Jessica Wood. Thank you very much for joining me today, Jessica. I thought we'd start off by talking about your role. So you're a set designer, production designer, set dresser. You've got a lot of different titles and a lot of different jobs. So please tell everyone sort of that's not in the industry what your job entails.
So it mostly depends on what my title is for the particular film. So production designer is sort of the highest credit of all of the jobs that I take. So production designer is overseeing all of the art department. So it'd be the set, the costume, the overall look of the film. It's a lot more in detail work, whereas set design is only focusing on the set, which for now is what I focus on, but I do a lot of production design work as well. And then set dressing is just, instead of set design, which is designing a set that could be built in a sound studio, for example, set dressing is more what you would do if the film is shot in an apartment where you're not building anything, you're not really designing anything, you're just, moving the furniture around to make it look good.
Fantastic. And is there a role that you sort of prefer or you would sort of list yourself as mainly? And what is your reason for preferring that role?
I list myself mainly as a set designer, so that's my sort of what I enjoy the most, especially when it comes to building sets. And I love working in sound stages and putting up set flats and trying to make a fake room look real. I think is one of my favorite things to do, especially when it's heavily designed, so it's a period piece or it's not based in reality or whatever. That's my favorite thing to do, definitely.
Fantastic. And how did you get into this? Have you gone to university and gone through sort of film schools and that sort of thing, or have you taken a different path?
I studied illustration for 3 years at university, and it was in my second year. One of my housemates I was living with was on a film course, and I had been struggling to figure out what I actually wanted to do with my degree, because I chose illustration because it was a very broad art course, so I could go in and sort of find myself and figure out what I wanted to do as a career through that course. And it was in my second year that I made a list of everything that I was interested in, so like concept art, character design, sort of environmental design, stuff like that. And they all fell into the film industry, and then I started looking into art jobs in the film industry, and that's when I came across set design and production design. And it was sort of a revelation moment. I realized this is what I wanted to do. And I was lucky enough that my housemate was a film student, so we collaborated and made a 1-minute short film where I made a few props for the film, and I had to star in it as well. But that's not my forte. But no, it was good. And then that led on to my third year, where we created a short film, I Florentina, together, which we worked on that for about a year, I think.
Brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. And how was your family's reaction to sort of going into the film industry? Because obviously it is a very competitive and very hard industry. Were they quite supportive of this, or was that a bit?
Yeah, they were very supportive. They had their concerns though, naturally, because I'd already gone to art uni, so art is already a difficult thing to pursue, job-wise anyway. And so not only was I wanting to do art, I was wanting to do art in the film industry, so it made it even harder for myself. But no, they're very supportive of it. After seeing my work in my second and third year doing film work, they were really, really supportive.
Oh, great. So in regards to people, again, people aren't going to know what goes on a film set, let alone exactly what's on your job. So could you take someone through an average day in the life of Jessica Wood?
So obviously the scale of the film depends greatly on what's going on. But for example, for a feature, it would be you'd be on set for a certain time. You get call sheet, you'd be on set for a certain time. Crew is always there before cast, and I would have had to talk to the director beforehand about how long I'd need to set up a certain room, or to dress a set, or etc. So I'd turn up say like 2 hours before they want to shoot, and I just set everything up, make sure it's all good, and then when they get the cameras in, I talk to them about, well, beforehand I talk to them about the angles they want, so that the thing with set design and set dressing is you don't need to set up the entire space, you just need to know what the camera's going to see. So it's sort of a bit of cheating sometimes, you get to a bit of movie magic. So behind the camera there'll be like nothing, but in front of the camera it's all you need to see. So yeah, as soon as the camera is set up, I'd check that everything that I'd set up in real life looks good on camera, because it always changes. So I could have set up a room and thought, yeah, this is perfect, I'm really happy with this. And the second the camera gets in there, you can't see any of what I've dressed. So I've got to, move things so that they can be seen in shot. But it's a fun challenge. I do enjoy that a lot.
Brilliant. And so obviously your process doesn't actually start when you step on set. You, unlike some of the other people, have a massive process before and behind the scenes. So can you tell us a bit about the research period and how long it takes, how in depth you go, how do you find this information and that sort of process for you?
So, of course, it again depends on the scale, and if it's a heavily design-based piece, so a period piece or etc., then there's a lot of research you need to do to make sure you get it right, especially if it's set in a certain time period. Then you've got to make sure that everything that is on set makes sense to be there, and etc. Mostly it just starts with talk with the director about what they want, and I'd read the script and highlight everything, all the props, all the things I would need to dress, or if there's a set that needs building, everything that would need to be built. And then it's pretty much a matter of just going online and just searching up images. I'll make mood boards of sort of color schemes and ideas, and it's a very collaborative process, the research stage with the director, to make sure that you're on the same page. But it's it's probably one of the longest processes of set design.
Fantastic. And in regards to, obviously, you mentioned I, Florentina. I know you've done a couple of others, The Haunting of Langto, which is currently in post-production as well, to How We Connected, which is a feature film, a few other projects as well. How long generally would you research for, say, a short film compared to a feature film? And what's been your favourite experience in the research stage of your various projects?
So for I, Florentina, the research stage was almost ongoing up until I was on the soundstage building the set, because I, Florentina was a Gothic Victorian horror, sort of loosely based on the story of Frankenstein. So there's a lot of research that needed to be done there for Victorian architecture, and I designed and built a laboratory for the character, and the whole film took place in this one set. So the research stage went on throughout the entire project, because we were constantly adding things and changing things to make sure it's right, because shooting in one set, you need to make sure it's perfect because you're not going to see anything else. So yeah, it was designing every single angle of it, and yeah, it was I find it is still probably my favorite project that I've ever worked on.
Is that just because of the style there as well, or?
It was a mixture of the style of it, because I like to specialize in horror, and I'm a sucker for Victorian design, and also because it was the first proper film I'd ever worked on, so it was very new, and I was sort of exploring all these things for the first time, and I had complete free reign because the director was a good friend of mine. So yeah, it was brilliant.
Fantastic. And so obviously I mentioned The Haunting of Langto as well. Can you tell us a bit more about the experience there? Obviously your first feature filmed over in Normandy as well. So I'll let you take it away of sort of your experience and yeah, what you've learned there.
Yeah, it was good. It was obviously, yeah, like you said, my first feature. The location that we shot in, as you know, it was absolutely beautiful. This really old chateau in Normandy, and that was the first film I'd ever worked on with another set designer, which was invaluable experience. I really, really enjoyed working with somebody else, especially when it came to, because The Haunting of Langto didn't require much preparation before we were on set. Most of it was just seeing what we needed to do that day and doing it. So having somebody else to, bounce ideas off of, and so we'd dress a set the day before we needed it, so there was less stress about, well, does this work, does this look good? There was one particular set, the ceremony room, that required like hundreds of candles that needed to be lit and placed around the room. But no, it was very interesting experience. The difference between a feature and a short film, how much more work is required. Obviously, there's a lot more bodies on set, so you have to think about, I've dressed this set, it's going to get messed up by people walking around, so I've got to make sure that it gets fixed before the cameras roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll just say, for one thing, I certainly didn't mess up any sets at all. So yeah, you discussed there. See, you were dealing with a building that was already there, and you had to dress it and change it. Whereas Southern I Florentine, you effectively made the set completely. What are obviously there's major differences there. What gives more challenges, and what do you enjoy doing more there? Because there's quite a different. So it's a range of skills that you need there to do both of those jobs.
Yeah, I would say, surprisingly, dressing a set that already exists tends to have more problems than building a set from scratch, because especially with an old building, there's only so many things you're allowed to do to it. So you can't go drilling holes here and knocking that wall down, and you just can't do stuff like that. So you're a lot more restricted on what you can do. So yeah, it's challenging, but it's also part of the fun of working on a set like that. Whereas when you get to build it from scratch, you can take into account anything like that and build it exactly how you need it to be. So it's easier and more creative to build a set, but it's sort of more challenging in a kind of fun way when you're on an existing location.
Fantastic. So what upcoming projects do you have? What are you working on at the moment?
So I've got 2 feature films and a short film I'm working on at the moment. The short film is, I won't say too much to give it, I don't want to spoil it. But it's a short horror film being shot on the border of Wales, and I get to build a set inside a cabin in the woods. So okay. I'm very excited about that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, there's a lot of design work that's going into that one. So yeah, I'm very, very, I'm enjoying the pre-production stage at the moment. And then my 2 features, there's a feature film called Best Days I'm going to be working on later this year, and then another feature film, The Cincinnati Spin, which is sort of American kind of crime,
nice,
mysteries. Yeah, lots of there's going to be a lot of design work involved with that as well, set building, and working on my first backlot set as well, which is being shot in Budapest. So I've never done that before, so I'm excited about that.
Brilliant. So what advice would you give? Because you've only just come out of university last summer, wasn't it? So you've done a lot in a very small amount of time. What advice would you give to someone that's either looking to get into the industry, or perhaps just come out of university and looking to go, or perhaps bypassing university altogether? What would you say, or you wish you'd known 8 months ago?
People always say, especially when you get into the film industry, that it's very difficult and it's going to take a while, and it might sound like a broken record, but it's not going to happen overnight. It does. I was very, very fortunate that I was able to do a film while I was still at uni, so I had that sort of platform to work off of when I left uni. But yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. It's very much the industry where you've got to really, really stick to it, and you might go months without having any work, but then that will be rewarded with loads of stuff at once, or one project that you absolutely love. And it's all about, I'd say in the beginning, pretty much, and take every single opportunity you can get, because no matter how small, or there might be something you're not really that interested in, but everything matters in the beginning. If there's a film that you're sort of, I'm not sure if I want to do that. But then if you do it, then the experience you gain from all these little opportunities really builds up, and it's invaluable. And then when you've got a few films under your belt, then you can kind of start thinking about what you really want to be doing and being a bit more picky with it.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. That's absolutely great knowledge, especially to anyone looking to get into the industry. And yeah, like I said, it is just persistence, but it's great to see your point of view as well, obviously from different sides in the industry. So thank you very much. Now, if anyone wants to check out any of your work, such as I Florentina, or any of your upcoming work, where's the best place to connect with you and get those links?
There's my website and my Instagram, the main two that I post my work onto.
Fantastic. And what's the Instagram name?
Jessica G. Wood.
You were fantastic. I'll put that down in the description as well. So there's a link. You can click down there and find out about Jessica's upcoming work, and hopefully, it ticks your fancy. And thank you very much for talking today, Jessica. It's been very, very enjoyable. Thank you very much. So thank you for joining us today as well, guys. Much appreciated. Do give a like, comment, and subscribe as well. We have lots of upcoming interviews with different people, such as actors, directors, makeup artists, and other people in the industry to get a real rounded view of the industry and a lot of invaluable experience and insight for anyone looking to get into it. But thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great day. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.